Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to. I'm Bushka on Blitz, back with another dose of love, affection, and enormous big fat tanks. Because this here is part of Fat Tank Friday. This is the MAUS. I'm also doing a Panther video at the moment. That's a pretty fat medium. Wow, this thing's monstrous. It's the fattest tank in the game, 189 tons, nearly 190 tons in fact, 0.78 in the end there. So round it on up and you're looking at nearly 200 odd big T's. It's got more armour than you can shake a stick at, and hence it has one of the worst traverses going around at Tier X, 19 degrees. It could, in fact, I think it is the worst traverse. 19 degrees on your turret, 19 degrees on your tracks, 14 degrees on your turret. And you can see there's an E100 next to me here, and an E100, which is a gigantic tank, looks like a medium. It's just ridiculous. This thing is enormous. It's a bit of a novelty tank. Look, I've got to be honest with you. I don't think the tank is amazing. I think it can be driven successfully, like anything in the game, really, unless they're really bad. And you can see here, I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't know how to angle this tank, you are just wasting your time with. And you can see I'm angling all the time. And then putting shots in and then turning the turret straight on again, because although it has more armor than you can possibly imagine, it's got some weak points, and because it's so slow, it's you're hard to hide them. Your heat firing mediums at Tier X can go straight through the cheeks. 300mm of pen will get you through the cheeks on either side. Less than that will get you through the cheeks on either side. But once you fire heat in them, they're just wide open. So either side of the gun. And you've got to then start doing the same thing you do with the E100, which is you angle the turret one way and the body the other, so that it's a very difficult thing for people to actually fire into your two weak points, which are the area underneath the upper glacis between your tracks and the lower glacis, in other words, but it's a small square in comparison to the rest of the tank, and the cheeks either side. But for all that, it's a fun tank. Look, I had a great time driving this. I drove it with Ace Stealth 251 and Skid, one of the boys from Metal Storm, who's, both those kids are much better than me. Skid's a purple. He's got his own YouTube channel. Check it out. He's a 70%er. And, mate, even them, at times, you just don't have any input in the battle because you're so slow. Your top speed is 25 kilometers an hour. And you can see there's like 6 reds around me in that shot. Like, if you get there late, which you're going to do pretty much every time, at times the outcome is already decided, and it's like a T95 or any of those kind of tanks. You want to always be side-scraping in this tank too. Have a look at this. This is a speeded up version of the gameplay, but you can see how I'm just working the sides of this building. You don't come out till your gun's ready to go and there's something in the barrel, and then you come out and take a shot and you bounce a lot of shots. Like in this particular instance, you'll just bounce so many shots because you are ferociously thick in terms of your side armor, your skirts, your upper glacis, everything is massive. That's why you're nearly 200 tons. And look, the tank, it's fun to drive for all the fact that I find it to be not the best tank to drive as a heavy at Tier X. Like, if this is for win rate, it's not a win rate tank, but it's a novelty. It's massive. It's enormous. When it works, it's just a barrel of laughs. And when it doesn't, it's generally not because the tank fails. It's just, it's too big. You're so enormous that when you have to push to get to places and someone pops on your right, you quite often just have to take the hit and keep moving, because if you stop and try and turn, then you'll get hit from the left because you're as big as a barn door, and once you get up on the radar, everyone knows you're there. The gun's not flash. The gun's the 12.8 centimeter from the E75, the L55. It's got 4.62 rounds a minute on the MAUS, which is slightly above the E75, and an average alpha of 460. So, you know, nothing special. I mean, about 2,000 damage per minute. Wowee. That's definitely not very exciting. 0.38 dispersion and a 2.9 second aim time. Again, nothing flash. You're paying for this massive amount of armor with mobility and gun handling. Like, you get none of those things because your armor is so fierce. And it is fierce, don't get me wrong. You will bounce all kinds of shots in this, and your ability to side scrape when you get the turret angle correct. You can see this poor old FV215B really wants to have a crack here, and he just can't get that shot on the side of my turret. It's just not there. It's not available. You can be so strong with that kind of play, but you've got to get there first, and that's the thing. If it's all happening on a flank with mediums and everyone's gone to the right or of this and you're still driving over there, quite often by the time you get there, everyone's dead. That's a bad part of this tank. The other part is you just can't traverse quick enough. I like the tank. That's the stupid thing about this, is I like the tank. I had a really fun time driving it. It's just so one thing. I mean, more than most tanks, and you'll see, even that's 310mm a pen, and you just angle correctly, you're going to bounce a lot of stuff. And you'll see, look at this, this is a MAUS gangbang. This is what I'm talking about. By the time I got up here, our mediums lost the hill. There were 4 mediums up above me, right? I had no choice but to go into this little corner because they were all just shooting me in the side. The rest of the team died. And so I'm stuck in a corner again, and look at it. It's like King Kong with a whole bunch of little biplanes running around him. That's the MAUS. What are you going to do about it? They're literally pushing me around, and it's just, what are you going to do? Like, you can't shoot. They're bumping you. I mean, it's fun though. It's a fun tank. Isn't that what you're meant to be doing here? You're meant to be having fun in the game. Well, you can have fun with this tank because it's so bloody silly. And it's so strong and tough in situations like this where your angles are moving around. You can see, look at them all. It's like a swarm. It's like a bunch of piranhas just doing their level best to put damage into me. And I'm just sitting here soaking it up because you do have a ridiculously large amount of hit points. You got 2,500 hit points. Oh, and please, drive it in Platoon. Stealth and Skid both drove this in Platoon. Like 2 fat hippos waltzing in mud while, you know, wearing gumboots, basically. Look at this. It's like we're in slow motion. Just look at it. Turning. Sing. And then there are just so many hit points, and I put myself in front of Stealth so that guy can't shoot him. And then Stealth's going to turn around with his 4.5 round a minute, 460 alpha gun. And this guy's just like, he can't get through the hit point pool. That's one of the most hilarious things about this tank, is you've got so many hit points that quite often the DPM's not going to be a problem for you because they just won't be able to get through your hit point pool before they die. And that's one of the reasons why with this tank, I will quite often just push and keep pushing and soak up damage and keep sucking up damage, because by the time they actually get through your hit point pool, everyone else has been spotted on their team, and you might find a safe spot to start side scraping. You're down to 1,500 hit points, and that's like an IS-4 that's taken a hit for 800 from a Jagdpanzer 100 or something. They've got 2,200. I mean, your hit point pool is massive. It's great fun. It's a good giggle. I enjoyed it. I don't suggest this is a tank that you go for as a primary heavy. It is just not that tank. And you can be really... And there's a moment at the end of this game, which I'm going to talk you through as we go forward, that is just absolutely hilarious, where I realise that a T-54 has run out of heat, and I just leave him alone. Just ignore him. I'm like, good going with your 201 pen, buddy. Wherever you want to have a shot, do your best. I just ignore him. We're pushing left here on the new Desert Sands. Oh, Acid Palms. Please excuse me. And I've pulled that out because I'm just thinking the Waffle Tractor might be hanging around here in the respawn. And I've got the HE out just in case the Waffle Tractor does show his little head. But of course he hasn't. So I've run the fast flank. Now, one of the reasons I went here was because I'm absolutely sick when you drive this tank. You see, they've got 5 medium tanks. If I went to the flank, by the time I got there, everyone's either dead on the right or everyone can see me, and they're just going to put shots at me from either side, like out of stealth. They'll load up, hit me with heat, and it's game over. It's such a horror show. You've got to find one channels, and by that I mean the heavy channels on maps. And even when everyone else goes the other way, sometimes you just want to go the one channel because you're sick and tired of getting absolutely wrecked from the side. And you can see here, I'm just pushing down like a big angry mutant that I am. I'm going to run into the ST1, do 160 damage. You do have enormous ability to not so much ram, but break people's faces on your fist, because they will run into you all the time and take massive damage. It's just one of those crazy things. You can see the ST1, poor little soul that he is not in the best of positions here to take advantage of my mouseness. We've now got an E50M who does a pretty solid job. He's trying his best. I do actually... I zoom the screen in soon because I don't want anyone to get in trouble. And a couple of the boys on my team had a major disagreement and got absolutely flogged, which is... You know, they gave each other a proper flogging. So I zoom the screen in so they don't get... Look at this. Look at the speed with which I'm traversing around chasing the fattest medium in the game, the E50M. Just working the angles. I can't catch him. It's just what this tank is all about. Someone stop that E50M for God's sake so I can put a shot into him. What... Here's the waffle tragger. The waffle tractor. Loaded up with HE. Easy shot. Yeah, I don't know. Hopeless. I think it's because the waffle has that turret armour that is actually no turret armour at all. It's just literally a shield on a self-propelled gun. And because of that, when you aim at it, you see that same shot there again, where I aimed at it, and there is no turret there. So I'm aiming at the turret, which is a solid part of the tank, and then it goes past, there's nothing there. It's just a tiny little skinny part of armour, and you don't hit anything. Anyway, I have troubles hitting this waffle tractor here, and the gun handling's not great, but I'm pretty pants. Again, I've got there, and everyone on my team is now dead, right? Everyone's dead. I've zoomed in just a touch, so you can't see the constant stream of abuse that these humans are throwing at each other. That was the doorbell. The pizza man is here, but we're going to finish this review before we take that. Oh, hot dog. Look at the bouncers coming our way. That's great. Look at... There we go. Miss the 54. Now, normally you'd have to be turning for the 54, and that would lose the game for you, right? Because once you're turning for the 54, you're cactus. Watch this. He misses me there, okay? The waffle tractor's a big worry because he has obviously got the 640 Alpha gun. The E50M makes a classic mistake and misses. And the T54 is not firing at me, and that's when I twig that the T54 is in fact not got any heat left. And I have a shot at him and then think, you know what, stuff it. I'll completely ignore the T54 and just go for the waffle tractor. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to miss him. This is the funniest, most ridiculous... Look at this. I've blown adrenaline. And I'm just going to keep trying to reverse up and hit the 54 and do damage to him. And I'm basically going to try and kill the 54 with my ass while my horrific gun handling helps me miss the waffle tractor on a professional basis. The T54 is still there. He can't pen me. I'm just ignoring him. It's 201 millimeters of pen. In fact, he might have the 217 millimeters of pen. Was it 207? I forget. The other gun. And we just stop. We're going to keep doing... If there's no waffle tractor, we'll shoot him. Waffle tractor comes out. Okay. Waffle tractor's out. We're back to the waffle tractor. Forget about the 54. We've got a chance at killing the waffle tractor. Miss him again. The 54 has run into me and is now dead. This tank is hilarious. And that's how you get a mastery in the MAUS, boys and girls. This thing is a riot. I had a really good time driving it. I had so many games where I just did bugger all damage and bounced a cubic arse load of shots. And I guess that's where it's at. I mean, it's a bouncy tank. It's a KV4. Like, if you run it, don't run it solo. Run it in a platoon with a monstrously big gun that can hang out behind you, where you can just soak up like a meat sponge all the damage and all the spots and let them make a living off you. But, wow. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it as a primary heavy for you. It's never going to make it in Clan Wars. But, dear God, is this tank a bit of a giggle to drive. I'm Bushka on Blitz. I hope you enjoyed that. Me killing T-54s with my ass in the MAUS, and Onwards and upwards, humans. Stay safe on the battlefield. And as always, if you want to sponsor the channel, click on the Patreon link on the front page or here in the video, and we'll get it done. Love your work, and hope you're all having a good weekend. Cheerio, team.